I like
pretension.
that. I like that.
Thank you guys for jumping on here with me tonight. Really thankful that you would do this. But just to get started, tell me a little bit about who you are and where do you live? What do you do?
I'm Nathan.
I'm Haley.
We live in Weatherford, Texas. We are working. We're parents. We're parents of a 6-year-old boy. And yeah, just kind of working multiple jobs and finding different ways to earn income, homeschooling our son. Yeah, just kind of enjoying life.
Yeah, wanted to kind of enter it into our marriage and wanted to make sure we could be debt-free as quickly and early as possible.
That's awesome. So you guys have multiple income streams. You have a salary job, but then you have some jobs that are somewhat variable in terms of the income.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we have my full-time job right now, and then we also run a snow cone stand on the side, and then are running an eBay store as well.
So tell me, if you don't mind, a little bit about your situation. You know, you had a mortgage, right, at some point, but not anymore. Do you remember any of the details of your mortgage?
Yeah, we started out when we bought our house, we had a mortgage on it. It was a 15-year mortgage. And I'm trying to remember, I think interest rate was around right at 3 flat or 3 1/4. And it was just a standard conventional one, I believe. But like Haley mentioned earlier, our goal was to pay off our house as quick as possible. And so we, a few years in, switched and refinanced it down to a 10-year to save a couple years on our mortgage life and then or loan term. And yeah, that's what we were in at the time of switching over to a HELOC. We were in a 10-year mortgage with about 7.5 years left to pay it off.
So then, I don't know if you remember, but when we ran through a couple of scenarios, do you remember one or both? Do you remember how much time you would save, and or do you remember how much you would save, you know, estimated in terms of interest costs?
Yeah, I think for us, the interest cost wasn't the big savings. I think we were looking around maybe $3,000 or $4,000 in savings on interest, but time, from doing the math, it looked like, I think when we calculated everything together, that we were looking at maybe saving it right at 5 to 5.5 years. Our goal, if everything holds true, and we're looking at paying it off in 2 years versus 7.5 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're absolutely on the right track with doing it. I think you said it's a 15-year, and we're looking at a 10-year, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
And so then now to be able to pay it off in at least like a max 5 years, but possibly even 2. That's just
we're excited.
Awesome. Yeah, very, very awesome.
That's awesome. Well, it's interesting because the most common challenge I come up against when I talk with people about the strategy and how this works is that it's too good to be true. And so I always have to say, okay, it's not too good to be true. It really is just math. And then once you see how the numbers actually work out, it makes a lot of sense because it's just math formula. Did you have any doubts when you first saw some of those numbers?
I had all the doubts, probably because I'm not the math person in the family, he is. So it definitely sounded too good to be true. But
yeah, I was excited when I heard about it. I wasn't as skeptical, but there was still that thought of what's the catch, sort of. And then, kind of why we hadn't heard about it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Why it wasn't more out there for people to know about as an option,
Yeah, that's often the progression that it goes. Is this is too good to be true, and then it's why have I been charged this much my whole life, or the entire length of time I've had this mortgage? So it goes from like disbelief to shock and horror because of how much that you get taken advantage of with a mortgage. So you decided to get started. What was it that convinced you to even to go? Was it just because of the savings, or what made you decide to go ahead and go for it?
I think ultimately time.
Yeah.
I mean, we wanted to pay off the house as quick as possible. That's we want to get to where we're debt free, no house payment, no car payment.
And I mean, I think it would be wrong to not mention the fact that, we have been praying about things to do for this reason, for a while. And we met you and then ran into you again later on. And we kind of just felt like that was God's maybe intervention. And so we prayed about that some more and YouTubed it some more. And he read about it a lot more and tried to explain it to me a lot more several times. But yeah, I think ultimately the conversation of, okay, well, even if we're not saving a ton of money, cutting it down from 7 to 2 is amazing. 7 years to 2 years is, a drastic difference. So why not,
Yeah, I think at the time when we met you, I mentioned to you that we were considering doing a cash out refinance, and we're looking at possibly reinvesting some of that money to try to, invest it back in our business to hopefully earn, additional income that we can pay off the house a little bit sooner. And that's, we both felt like it was a godsend that we happened to meet you at that property, and, you were able to kind of stop us, or, point us in a better direction.
Yeah.
So I think that gave us both a little bit more comfort in going about it. So.
And for a lot of people, the fact that, just because you put a HELOC in place doesn't mean that you're locked. It's ironic it's called a HELOC, but you're not locked into it. You can always go back into a mortgage if you want. It's not a problem. And then they have fixed rate HELOCs as well. So in a lot of ways, there's not a whole lot of difference. So
yeah.
Then I guess one of the bottom line questions is for you guys, are you glad you did it so far?
So far,
definitely. Yeah.
I think we're 2 months in now. And already it's nice to see, like what we did, where we had a little bit of money left on our car payments, and we kind of combined it all into one. So it's nice to see one consolidated loan and how quick it's being paid down. And so, yeah, I think I'm excited. I'm excited to see that it's actually working. And I think about it more and more, what do you call it? Motivated. Yeah, motivated to put the extra money onto it. But yeah, I mean,
the light is at the end of the tunnel.
Because even if, you had explained, even if we would make still minimum payments, how it'd still pay it off, or make the same payments we were making, previously in our mortgage, that it would still pay it off quicker. But it's nice seeing it come down so fast, and it's motivating. So yeah, so far we're absolutely loving it, and it's been a burden, kind of lifted off my shoulders, and I like to see that something that we're doing is being blessed and working out.
Yeah, it's a mindset shift, is what I often say.
Yeah.
You switch from this mindset of, oh, my mortgage is a burden and I've got to pay this every month, to now I'm actually building something. I'm equipping myself with a tool that I can use to do a lot of different things with. Like you said, you did some debt consolidation there. So it's definitely a mindset shift.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Okay, so if you could say just one thing to someone who's considering doing this, and probably doing the exact same thing as you, looking on YouTube and all that, what would you say to them?
Don't be afraid to try it.
Yeah, I like that one. I mean, it works. It's unconventional, I guess, as far as, it's not the normal way of doing it, but, after doing it so far, I mean, I think we both like it. And yeah, I mean, just don't be afraid to jump out, try it. And
that kind of like the mind shift, like what you just said, there needs to be a mind shift on how we go about our mortgage and our debt, and what we should be okay with, hanging on to us our whole life, and what we really shouldn't be okay with. So if it's an opportunity to, pay that off quicker, then why not give it a shot?
Yeah, absolutely. So then lastly, and thank you for your time, but the last question I have is, in just one word, describe what BreakThru Finance means to you and what we're doing here.
Freedom.
Yeah, freedom and opportunity.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you guys for your time.
Julie, is there any way?
I was thinking maybe I could have a Superman, like I could do this. I'll just like pan out to this and go, wow, and it'd be a Superman thing. But
There you go.